Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Kent, where our mission is to inspire love, work for justice, and grow in community. I'm Kathy Kearns, this morning's worship leader, and I'm joined by our minister, the Reverend Stephen Protzman, Director of Religious Education, Colleen Taylor, Music Director, Katie Grigg Miller, and special guest musicians, Shirley Kiernan and Vanessa Vesely. And now, come, let us worship together. And this is the time of our annual canvas, and so we're now going to see a special message from the generosity team.
Hi, I'm Marion Yagler with the UUCK Generosity Team. The 2024 Pledge Drive is well on its way. Love is the spirit of this church. I hope that as you consider your pledge, you support what you love.
I love lots of things about the church, but if I had to distill it down, I'd say I love being part of the church community. The church is the primary community for me. That's where I come each Sunday and where I go throughout the week. They're the people that I talk to when I'm around Kent or at the farmers market on Saturday mornings. They're the people that I like to learn from when we're doing something for our social justice work, or the people that I want to hang out with when we're having fun outside. So being part of that community, that's really what I love about being at the church.
I receive from the church love. I feel cared for in this community. In this space. I feel many memories I have over the years of coming here, sitting in this space. I feel reflective, really, of all the joys and sorrows of life and services I've come to celebrate and to mourn, to be together with people who share my values.
Hearts open, minds awake, change us now for heaven's sake. Leave us not alone in hatred's way.
I like to do things like advertise for the auction. I like to build up big posters that everyone will see and they'll come and join us, right? And I like to decorate in front of the chancel because I like to create a warm and inviting environment that brings us all together and in love, because that's who we are. We're a loving community that comes together every week to share and be together. And it's something that we definitely missed during the pandemic, and we're all grateful to have again.
One of the things I love about the church the most is the community, because there's a wide variety of all different ages of kids to hang out with and talk to, and then the adults here are super chill and you can talk to them about anything, and they're very understanding, and so it makes just hanging out at church feel really fun. I am a prefect this year for Hogwarts. To me, being a prefect means a lot of responsibility. It's sort of like being an adult, I think. You have to be able to figure out how to make it safe, and you figure out how to make it fun and have overall themes that you can use for the whole rest of your life. This year's theme is making and keeping friends, so that makes this year extra exciting.
Well, you know, I'm a passionate baker, so hospitality is one thing that is important to me, and I try to make an effort to provide opportunities for people to socialize together and to eat together, of course.
I was proud of our church when we got certified as a green sanctuary and look at education efforts, ways we can get our church members and our wider community engaged in issues of climate change and environmental justice, and work together to make our community, our world a better place.
I love being in community. I love my friends that I have here who are very important to me and important in my life. I also cherish the opportunity to open my mind and think about things differently and learn something that I didn't know before that could change my life and change other people's lives.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for your ongoing support, and I hope to see you soon.
Thank you, Shirley and Vanessa. What is a Unitarian Universalist? Do you think you could explain it to someone in a meaningful way in, say, the span of an average elevator ride, anywhere from 30 seconds to 2 minutes? Or would it take a trip to the top of the former Sears Tower, now known as the Willis Tower, plus coffee on the observation deck to explain our liberal religion? It's not easy to summarize our pluralistic, non-creedal faith in which everyone is welcome, atheists and theists, humanists and pagans, Buddhists and Christians, and none or all of the above. Or how we are each free to draw on and follow any or all of the world's many spiritual traditions, and that each person engages in their own search to discover meaning and purpose in life. Perhaps medieval Sufi poet Hafiz sums up our faith in a useful way. He wrote, "We are people who need to love because love is the soul's life. Love is simply creation's greatest joy." Can it be that as Unitarian Universalists, we are simply a people who need to love? Imagine when you tell someone you're a Unitarian Universalist and they say, "A uni what?" You can respond, "We're a people who need to love because love gives us life and joy." But is love itself enough to define Unitarian Universalism? What is a Unitarian Universalist? Let us explore this question together. As Unitarian Universalists, we light a flame within a chalice to unite us in our worship and to remind us of our ongoing search for the light of truth within us and among us. It reminds us that we are all interconnected in the great web of existence of which we are each a beloved part. I invite Elliot to come light our chalice, and I also invite those on Zoom to light your home chalice. Would you join me now in the words for the chalice lighting from James Villa Blake, our covenant? Love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. I invite you to rise and join in singing our opening hymn, number 1008, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place.
Trust the wisdom in each of us, every color, every creed and kind, and we see our faces in each other's eyes. Then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place. We are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place. When we tell our story from deep inside, and we listen with a loving mind, and we hear our voices in each other's words, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place. We are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place. When we share the silence of sacred space, and the God of our hearts stirs within, and we feel the power of each other's faith, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place. We are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place.
Katie, can I steal that? Can I steal this? That one? So if you want to join me up at the front for the young and the young at heart for a short lesson, come on. You could sit there. Don't make me sit up here alone. Or, although you can if you want. I'll be all right. Oh, Raylan, can you hand me that bag? Thank you. All right, so today we're talking about what is a Unitarian Universalist, right? So I have a lesson for you called the belief bag. This is my belief bag. All right, so babies, when they're born, they aren't born believing anything, right? They're not born Buddhists or Baptists or any believer of any sort just yet. But soon, almost immediately, when they arrive, they begin to learn things. We start to gather ideas. We pick up our ideas and our beliefs about people and the world and animals and families, and we collect ideas about the stars and the universe, the comets, and how all of this got started. We start to accumulate beliefs about what's good, what's bad, and what's right, what's wrong, what's healthy, what's unhealthy, and what's important in our life. And all of these beliefs, we get them from our own experiences, our experiences with our parents, our friends, even from TV and music, and from going to church and your community and RE, and all of these things that we gather as from day one of our life, we put in to our belief bag. Now,
Christians, for instance, believe in Jesus because most religions define themselves by what they believe, by what's inside the bag, like the Christians. And the Muslims believe in Allah and the Prophet Muhammad, and Buddhists believe in the Four Noble Truths. But Unitarian Universalists don't have just one set of beliefs. So what is something that sets us apart is the way that we hold our beliefs, the way we carry them. Because there's different ways of holding your belief bag. So, for example, some people hold their beliefs like this. They clutch it really close and they make sure that the top is tightly sealed because they don't want their beliefs exposed to any new ideas. So ask me what's in my bag.
What's in your bag?
Bag? What bag? I don't have a bag. I don't want to talk about my bag.
I have some ideas to add to your bag.
Hold on, wait. I'll ask you for those in a minute. So on the other hand, some people, though, are just the opposite. And they don't pay much attention to how they hold their bag or what goes into their bag. One idea is just as good as another. And if other folks believe it, or if they read it on the internet, then it must be true. Because they carry their bag in such a sloppy manner when they're sloppy thinkers. So ask what's inside my bag. Oh, just all the things I know. I just put things in there when I read them. And did you know that monkeys are trying to take over the world? It's in my bag. And then there are people who carry their bags like this. And what's in their bag might sound really nice, like be nice to people, care for others, feed the hungry. But they use their bag like a weapon. And they beat people over the head with it until they submit. I don't like that. But none of those ways is the Unitarian Universalist way. And it's not just for us. Other people who have other religions practice it this way as well. But for us, we strive to carry our bags like this. Open at the top and right in front. We strive to carry our bags in front of us so that we can see inside and examine what goes in to be sure it makes sense and fits with what we believe and what we know. So what are some of the things in our UU belief bag, in your UU belief bag?
Be nice.
Be nice. Slay.
Slay the day.
Slay the day. Justin. Be kind and be nice. Katie. Have a good time. Elliot? Water the cockroaches. Care for all living beings. Yes. Care for others. Take care of people. Community. What else is in our UU belief bag? Sing. Music. Care for the earth. Can you remember a time when your belief bag changed? When something came out of your belief bag? To put something new into your belief bag? When COVID happened? How? Can you give me more words on that?
My belief bag, I had to wear a mask.
You had to wear a mask? Why did you wear a mask, Blaze?
I didn't want to get COVID.
You didn't want to get COVID? Was there any other reason why we wore masks?
Because people were getting sick and I didn't want to spread it to like my grandparents and I saw them.
Yes, you didn't want to spread the sickness to your grandparents, so we took care of each other. Wonderful. So, one of the things in Unitarian Universalism that we put a lot of emphasis on in our bag is our language, right? So sometimes we change our language when we realize that the language has changed and that we can do better. And one of those examples I thought of was, we used to say, we practice tolerance. We tolerate people. How does that sound? I tolerate you, Benny. That doesn't sound very loving and welcoming, right? I'm tolerating you. So instead we changed our language. We changed it to we celebrate you. We celebrate who you are on the inside, on the outside, all over this community. We celebrate people for who they are. So that's just one example of a language change. And we have many. We have many. And they're talking about that a little bit further today in the service. But I'm going to leave it there. What it means to be a Unitarian Universalist, that's all I want to know. What does it mean to be a Unitarian Universalist to you? What does it mean? Be cool. Be cool, man. Just be chill. Justin? Treat others with kindness, with love. Yeah, Katie? Have a good life. Elliot? Take care of everything, including those cockroaches. Absolutely, the web of life. We care for the web of life. Yes, we do. Well, yes, all of those mean what it means to be Unitarian Universalist. And the next time somebody asks you what the people at your church believe, you can tell them that Unitarian Universalists believe that it is less important what exactly is in your bag, but how you hold your bag. And it's important how you acquire your beliefs and how you share your beliefs. And above all, what you do with your beliefs that counts, right? Fantastic. You guys ready to go to class?
Each week, we create a time of shared stillness for prayer, reflection, gratitude, meditation, or simply being. We pause to remember who we truly are, reflect on life, and reconnect with the sacred mystery that is at the very heart of life itself. Let's enter a period of silence. Life is a mystery that brings many things, including struggle and loss. In the spirit of being a community of compassion and care, we take time to share these sorrows and struggles that are in our hearts right now. If you're on Zoom, please share your sorrows in the chat and I will read them aloud. Claudia Miller wants us to send get well wishes to Jan Noden. Anver Weeby has a sorrow to share. She's thinking of Mandy Jenkinson's family. Mandy passed away from breast cancer at the age of 42. We send our peace and love to Anne and to the Jenkins family as you grieve this loss. You are welcome also to speak out the name of anyone who needs our love and support right now. Let us take a moment for prayer. Spirit of life and love, draw near to us today. We acknowledge the world can be a hard place. Some of us have had a difficult week, full of challenges. Some of us have had a lifetime of difficulties and are looking for hope that there will be a better future. People all around the world are experiencing grief, trauma, and hardship. But there is love and hope for a broken world right here in this room. Spirit of life and love, we welcome your healing energy as we face our life's journey. We are connected to one another on this journey. We welcome the love and support of this community as a source of comfort. We extend our love and support to those here who need it. As we carry that love with us today, let it radiate out into the world that needs it. Life also brings joy, wonder, and awe. We've experienced moments this week that lifted our spirits. So let's take a moment to honor the times of special joy we have experienced. Those on Zoom are welcome to use the chat to share your joys. Jennifer Gregg shares a joy. She has gratitude for the many hands that worked cleaning our church yesterday. And if you're feeling left out, she says there'll be plenty more opportunities. Thank you for organizing that and keeping our spaces looking so beautiful. And Mark Stevens shares that after 20 years of being away from it, he went back to jazz dancing and found he got right back in the rhythm again. And so I know he's here somewhere because he left a card. There's Mark. And so we celebrate with Mark. Nancy shares that she's grateful as always to Lori and her posse of women who've been providing support. With gratitude for these and every blessing we receive in life, the gift of life itself, companionship on life's journey, the beauty of this world, and this day of possibility, we raise our hearts in gladness. Amen.
Can't meet, my hands can't reach that far. My voice falls silent when I wish to speak. My feet can't walk that far. Take my hand and we can change the world for better. Join your voice with mine and we can sing together. Our eyes see need when others look away. We walk where others don't. Our hands support when others will not touch. We speak when others won't. Take my hand and we can change the world for better. Join your voice with mine and we can sing together, together, together. Hands join, we work for deeper love, we march for greater hope. Our voices joined, we sing for lasting peace, together we are strong. Take
Thank you, Katie Sonis. Our first reading is titled, What's Your Elevator Speech About Unitarian Universalism? And it was written by Reverend William Singford, former president of the UUA, in 2003. I spent some time recently rereading our purposes and principles. You may well think that I can recite them by heart, but periodically I make it a point to read them again. It is a good discipline to revisit our foundational language occasionally. We are having so much success making our faith more visible in the world that more and more of us are getting asked the question, what's a Unitarian Universalist? When most of us answer, we tend to go first to the 7 principles. The UUA Commission on Appraisal is currently studying theological fragmentation within Unitarian Universalism and is seeking input on the question, where is the unity in our diversity? What struck me as I reread the principles was that they contain not one piece of traditional religious language, not one single word. And this is a wonderment to me. Our principles serve us well as a covenant, presenting a vision of a more just world on which we agree, and our promise to walk together toward that vision, whatever our theology. But I wonder whether the language of the principles is sufficient to capture our individual searches for truth and meaning. For this, I think we need what the Reverend David Bombau, a Unitarian Universalist minister and religious humanist, calls a vocabulary of reverence. We have manned the ramparts of reason and are prepared to defend the citadel of the mind, Bombau writes. But in the process, we have lost the ability to speak of that which is sacred, holy, of ultimate importance to us, the language which would allow us to enter into critical dialogue with the religious community. Singford goes on to say, our resistance to religious language, I believe, helps to account for the struggle that so many of us experience in trying to say who we are as Unitarian Universalists. I always encourage people to work on their elevator speech, what you'd say when you're going from the 6th floor to the lobby and somebody asks you, what's a Unitarian Universalist? You've got maybe 45 seconds. Here's my latest. The Unitarian side tells us that there is only one God, one spirit of life, one power of love. The Universalist side tells us that God is a loving God, condemning none of us, valuing the spark of divinity that is in every human being. So my version of what Unitarian Universalism stands for is one God, no one left behind. Some of you I know may be bothered by the use of the word God. I understand. I called myself an atheist when I came to Unitarian Universalism and was a devoted humanist for years, although my spiritual path has taken me elsewhere. But religious language doesn't have to mean God talk. David Bombau observes that a vocabulary of reverence is implicit in humanism, with its emphasis on human study and understanding of the natural world. Bombau says, humanism gave us a doctrine of incarnation, which suggests not that the holy became human in one place at one time to convey a special message to a single chosen people, but that the universe itself is continually incarnating itself in microbes and maples, in hummingbirds and human beings, constantly inviting us to tease out the revelation contained in the stars and atoms and every living thing. This is truly religious language. As Bombau says, it whispers of a larger meaning to our existence and carries with it implications for how we should live. Your elevator speeches may be very different from mine. Hone them. Put a name to what calls you and to what you find yourself called to do in response. Practice telling it to others. We have good news for a world that badly needs it, but we may need to expand our vocabularies if we want others to hear us. Our second reading is 3 UU elevator speeches. The first one is from Roger Berger. Most religions work to get people into heaven. Unitarian Universalists work to get heaven into people. The second one is from Ann Creech. Unitarian Universalists believe that all life is sacred. all existence is interconnected, and that justice and compassion must be the foundation of our thoughts and deeds. And the third one is from Melvin E. Mackey. Unitarian Universalism embodies religious freedom. We do not provide the answers to life's great questions. Instead, we provide a beloved community in which individuals, working together and alone, are encouraged to find answers that are meaningful in the context of their own lives. We draw upon all sources of knowledge, including experience, authority, intuition, reason, and faith, in the search for answers. Ours is a living, dynamic religion. We are always free to develop and change our beliefs as we acquire new knowledge and insight concerning truth, reality, and the meaning of life.
Reverend Sinkford says we should all work on elevator speeches to answer the question, what is a Unitarian Universalist? If you had 45 seconds to tell a stranger who we are as a denomination and what we believe, what would you say? I encourage you to spend some time pondering this question and seeing what emerges for you. What concepts or ideas would be essential? Last week, Reverend Stephen talked about efforts by our National Unitarian Universalist Association to have a discussion about what we, as Unitarian Universalists, believe. There is a proposal to change Article 2 of our bylaws, which states why we exist as a denomination, our theological roots, what we value, and how we covenant to be together. Now, Unitarian Universalists are known to be a group of people prone to debate, often having passionate discussions about wording. I see some of you have participated in those conversations. Is it better to state, we affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of every person, or to say, we declare each person has the right to flourish with inherent dignity or worthiness? Now, before your eyes glaze over, some of you are starting already, or you head for the door, bear with me. This sermon is not a debate about wording. It's a reflection on UU identity and purpose. This is really what the whole discussion of Article 2 is about. Who are we? What do we believe as a faith community? And the proposed changes are not just wordsmithing. They include, among other things, removing the statement of our 7 principles and replacing it with a statement of values, and removing much of the language about sources of wisdom we draw on as a faith. There's a handout in the order of service with the current wording and the proposed wording changes for Article 2. I invite you to take that with you when you leave today, although I do hope you'll set it aside for a few minutes as we reflect on why this is an important conversation to have. What are the essential aspects of Unitarian Universalism identity, and how we might approach this conversation in a way that reflects our values as a denomination? The proposed changes have led to lots of emotion and debates within our national Unitarian Universalist community. I think that reflects the importance that many Unitarian Universalists attach to Article 2 as a statement of our faith. The Article 2 Commission notes that the language in Article 2 serves many important functions. It serves a theological function. It helps to articulate our shared values and theology. It serves a social function. It helps as a shared cultural touchstone. It serves an educational function, listing concepts to teach and sources to draw upon. It serves a personal function as a code of conduct. It serves an evangelical function, a way to explain to others who we are and draw their interest. It serves a rhetorical function. It helps to define our beliefs and morality in legal or political contexts. I agree with the Commission that these are all important functions. I'm especially struck by the importance of the evangelical function of this language. For example, many people treat our language about the 7 principles as standalone language that conveys what unites us as a denomination. Those principles include phrases about inherent worth of every person, justice, compassion and acceptance, encouragement of spiritual growth, search for truth and meaning, right of conscience, world community, and the interconnected nature of existence. Collectively, I think they do convey a lot of information about UU identity. So one lens we can bring to this conversation is to ask, how does the proposed statement of values and covenant answer the question, what is a Unitarian Universalist? The proposed revision centers love as the power that holds us together and names 6 values we covenant to support: honoring the interdependent web of all existence, celebrating our diversity in culture, experience, and theology, working to be diverse, multicultural communities where we all thrive, adapting to the changing world, cultivating a spirit of gratitude and hope, and declaring every person has a right to flourish with dignity and worthiness. Recently, I asked a small group of Unitarian Universalists from different congregations who were attending a retreat to answer the question, what is the essence of Unitarian Universalism? I asked them to quickly write down up to three words or phrases that they think capture the essence of our faith. And based on the responses from these 37 people, I created a word cloud of what they said. I know you may not be able to read all these well, so I'll read the words to you in the word cloud. The size of the word reflects the frequency of that word. Most often cited was community, followed by love, acceptance, justice, freedom, service, compassion, tolerance, and peace. So in addition to our current principles and the proposed statement of values and covenant, here's a third representation of what it means to be a Unitarian Universalist. Another lens we can bring to this conversation is to ask, what kind of statement would express what is unique about Unitarian Universalism? There are a lot of religious homes available. Why come through our doors? I've heard some people say, UU theology can be stated in one word, love. Some people say they really like the proposed language because it centers love, a term that is not included in any of our principles. Manifesting love in the world, creating beloved community, rooting our work in love, these are all certainly important aspects of Unitarian Universalist faith, but they're not unique to our faith. I would venture that Archbishop Desmond Tutu, Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., Mother Teresa, and Gandhi, just to mention a few people from other faith traditions, all saw a theology of love as an important aspect of their work. A few years ago, someone asked me, what do Unitarian Universalists believe? I began by talking about respect for others, compassion, and justice. They weren't very satisfied with that answer. They said, all major religions advocate for those things. So then I talked about the search for truth and meaning, lack of a single creed, and democratic processes as aspects of our faith that distinguish it from other faith traditions. We could ask, as we consider the proposed changes to Article 2, does it help someone to see what is special about our faith tradition? As Reverend Sinkford says, We have good news for a world that badly needs it. How can we state it so that they will hear it and be drawn in? This is a question also not just of identity, but purpose. Another lens we can bring to the conversation about Article 2 is to reflect on what it says about why we exist as a faith tradition. What do we have to offer the world? Unitarian churches initially focused on providing a space for those who believed in the unity of God rather than the Trinity. Early Universalist churches brought the healing message that all are saved. Why do we exist today? You could say to create beloved community. This seems to be the main message of the proposed Article 2 revisions. I don't disagree with that answer, that part of our purpose is to help create beloved community, to create the conditions where everyone can thrive. I would point out that lots of nonprofits have that as their purpose. I think there is another important aspect of our purpose, which is captured by the phrase, lives transformed by faith. This church exists to help people grapple with questions of meaning and purpose. As Reverend Sinkford notes, religious community is a place to talk about what is sacred and holy, and a place in which we pursue our individual searches for truth and meaning. Why did you come through these doors? Was it that you couldn't find another place in the larger community where you could work to better the world? Or was it, at least in part, that you were looking for a place where you could bring your whole self, you could try to answer questions about ultimate meaning and purpose, and you wanted a supportive community that would help you reach for your aspirations of who you want to be in this world? Isn't a purpose of church to help transform our individual lives as well as the world? After service today, there'll be an opportunity to discuss the proposed Article 2 changes. We'll be meeting in Hobbs Hall at 11:30 a.m. Come earlier for coffee and snacks. And note, if you are on Zoom, you're welcome to come to that conversation. There'll be in the chat a separate Zoom link, though. You'll have to leave the Zoom link you used for the service and enter under a different Zoom link to participate in that conversation at 11:30. As we have conversations about Article 2 within our congregations and in our larger UU community, it's a chance to put our values in action. I sense that some people in our movement are taking hard stands for or against the proposed Article 2 changes, yet this can be an opportunity to practice that challenging spiritual discipline of holding respectful space for those who have a different opinion. I offer you these wise words from our UUA president, Susan Frederick Gray. She says, "My hope for us as Unitarian Universalists is that we approach this discernment about Article 2 with openness. May we enter our conversations with a spirit of curiosity, holding off attachment to outcomes, and listen with our whole hearts and to the fullness and diversity of voices within our community. May the process itself deepen our understanding of and commitment to our faith." Will the ushers come forward? We're grateful for the many gifts of time, treasure, and talent given in support of our church community, and will now take the offering which sustains our church. To help others in our community thrive, our offering also includes a collection for agencies and organizations that serve those in need. And this month's special offering is for the Socially Responsible Sweatshop of Kent. They repurpose textiles to make useful items that are sold to provide funds for food insecure community members and other social justice projects. And many people in this church are very important core part of that group. In the spirit of gratitude for the gift of one another and this community and the abundance that makes generosity possible, we now give and receive the offering as a sign of our shared commitment to the life and work of this congregation and beyond.
You. Unitarian, Universalist, ain't it great to be you? You, boom, boom. Unitarian, Universalist, ain't it great to be you? You, boom, boom. Unitarian, Universalist, ain't it great to be you? Boom, boom, boom. We are the church of the open minds. We are the church of the loving heart. We're striving to be built in a world of loving kindness, and our actions are the place that we start. We're holding on to beauty, building community as we care for our home on this earth. We're working for the weak, forgotten and the meek, and in all beings we see their beauty and their worth. Unitarian, Universalist, ain't it great to be you? You, boom, boom. Unitarian, Universalist, ain't it great to be you?
And now I invite you to say with me words for extinguishing the chalice as we close out our time together. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. May we tarry these in our hearts and minds until we are together again. And now the words for benediction are taken from Edward Shemp. Unitarian Universalism is faith in people, hope for tomorrow's child.
It looks not to a perfect heaven, but towards a good earth.
It is respectful to the past, but not limited to it.
It is trust in growing and conspiracy with change.
It is spiritual responsibility for a moral tomorrow. Go in peace.